Hi, my name is Darcy Bowman, and this is my submission, How Safe and Equitable is My District, for EDL 955. So after doing the required readings, I picked up on a basic framework for a comprehensive school safety approach. I'm going to go over those three different areas and kind of how they compare with my school and my district, which is Manhattan USD 383. As far as physical safety, the access to the school, the control of who gains access, the security systems that we have into place, I feel like as if our district does a really nice job. Everybody that comes into our building that is an employee of USD 383, if they are within Marlatt specifically, they will have a badge, and that badge will gain them access to certain areas, areas that they need to be in. Obviously, if you have a badge, you're not going to get into my office or Sheila's office. So that is set up on the control end with the head principal as to who has access to certain areas. As far as control, when we have visitors that come in, they have to be buzzed in. They are also buzzed into the office. They have to sign in, but they are not allowed out of that office area because it is locked down until a secretary buzzes them out. So that's another level of control and security that we have. We do have security cameras. Our actual school is one of two schools that houses the Empower program, which is a behavioral type based program. We have anywhere from 5 to 10 kids at a time that are on IEPs for severe behavioral emotional issues. And so within that room, we have some different safeguards also. As far as the camera setup, we have cameras around the school. Specifically, we have them in our seclusion rooms for our Empower program, just so that we can monitor what's going on. But like I said, I feel like as if our school does a really good job with that. The next area would be the school climate, positive student-to-student and student-to-teacher relationships, along with MTSS for behavior. I am the behavioral person at our school. So I'm the assistant principal and the MTSS coordinator, and so I will delve a little deeper later on the things that we have in place for MTSS for behaviors. Now, as far as student behavior, I did find it interesting. They were talking about how zero tolerance policies was kind of creating a divide because you have a higher amount of kiddos possibly that are in trauma, that are having issues. And so suspending them from school creates an even bigger divide. That was interesting to me. I guess I had never looked at it from that perspective because we have the Empower program within our school. There have been times because these kiddos, their amygdala is firing, and because of the severeness of the trauma that they have had, it takes their brains a little bit longer to de-escalate. And so, that could be hours. We've dealt with a lot of different issues. Sometimes we have to call our CPD, but, we're still working on what's best for our school. It's a work in progress. And so I think that this class is going to help me with some of those things. When we did call our CPD, moving into the positive part of it, they are very well versed in trauma-informed practices, the restorative justice, those sorts of things. And so I feel like as if even in the community, Manhattan as a whole is doing a great job. Now, as far as the restorative justice, last semester, I believe, possibly last year, we had a professional development on restorative justice, and some of our teachers carry cards that have prompts for the victim and the perpetrator, and so we are adopting restorative justice, trauma-informed practices. If you are employed with USD 383, you have a set of modules that you have to take that deal with trauma-informed practices. And then, of course, we have our social emotional curriculums that we follow. The other warning signs, as far as social withdrawal, excessive fear of being alone, all of those things that was listed in the Ichabod Crane School District, we do a really good job I think of, keeping a handle on those things and reporting what needs to be reported to Michelle Jones. She is our safety person at the district, and she does a fabulous job. So some elements to think about, identifying sites of potential emergencies, plans for responses to emergencies. I didn't think about it before, but like even communicable diseases with our COVID epidemic, I did not realize that could possibly be a thing. And so, interestingly enough, we did have COVID protocols. And so, I'm grateful for all of the things that were put into place when we were navigating that time. So, and then, school cancellations, early dismissal, evacuations, those sorts of things. Like I said, at the top, we have our superintendent, our assistant superintendent, and then, of course, Michelle Jones, who is our safety person, and they just do a fabulous job. So we also need to think about, responses to implied or direct threats. I can remember in my first years in Manhattan, at one point, there was something that was happening at one of our neighborhood schools. Before I even got to school, they thought that somebody was within the schools. And so the communication piece of letting everybody in the vicinity know was wonderful. Suicide protocols, we do have that at our school. So any child that makes any threat of suicide, we have a protocol that we put into place that I've been a part of. And then appropriate training and collaboration with first responders. Every summer we have simulation that we do with partners in the community. And then we also have our safety week where first responders actually come in, they time us, they walk through the school, I think the collaboration is wonderful. And then the manpower during an emergency and chain of command. We have definitely put those things into place. Each teacher has a bucket that they take with them whenever we have any type of a fire drill or tornado drill or anything like that. And then we have the chain of command. We have our walkie-talkies and we know who to contact. And then it all goes back to the very top, which is great. We have practice drills. We document and we record keep all of those things. So I really feel like as if our district does a great job with that. They have a lot of good things in place. So this is talking a little bit about the USD 383 school environment. So we have a standard response protocol that's in place ahead of time. It has a published chain of command that is communicated to all of the stakeholders. So that is published. That is definitely in place. We collaborate with the community resources. We have a strong relationship with our CPD and the fire department and the health department. I know that my nurse is always calling the health department about something, so I know there's collaboration there. I personally have had to call our CPD before. They're wonderful at the response. They are wonderful in helping us to build relationships with kids. So, they are building with us that positive school environment. The visitor management protocols that we have in place, I kind of talked about that a little bit. I feel like as if that keeps our kids safe. Then the video security equipment, we have that at the building level. I have access to that. My principal has access to that. And so, we've had to look at some things before on the cameras. We have to monitor to make sure that, things are happening the way they should in our Empower program. So we've been gifted with all of the equipment that we need. The access control equipment, the badges, those sorts of things, I can't say that they work 100% all the time, but they're working on it, which is great. The alert notifications, we have Parent Square that was just implemented this year. I think it's a really solid way to communicate with parents and the community about things that are going on within the school. We did used to have the panic button app such as Remind, but I don't know. We've kind of gotten away from that just because the district put in our Parent Square and they want us to utilize that for absolutely everything. They want it standardized across the district, which I can appreciate. I haven't had a child in the Manhattan system, but if I did, I would like to have, that one communication piece for absolutely everything. And then program initiatives, MTSS for behavior, our comprehensive discipline policies, our training, our drills, our exercises. I don't know if you can see it, but each teacher gets one of these. It's kind of really hard to see. Basically what it is in an emergency, it's just a flyer, and it tells you what to do if something happens. These are posted everywhere. Every teacher has one, which is really great. We have lots of practice drills. And then we actually have an effective HR screening practice for new hires. They've really locked down what it looks like when we hire somebody. We have a lot of interns, and so a lot of times we will we do the hiring process as far as orientation, everything, even for the interns who are already scheduled to be in our building. So we have them do student supervision before and after school and some other things just so they can earn some money. And that screening process is still very rigid, which is okay with me. It's okay with me. So going on to the next one. So who benefits from all of these things? I'm going to move myself. Really, who benefits from a safe school environment? It's everybody. The teachers, the students, the admin, peace of mind for parents. It's just, it has to be in place. I feel like as if my district compared to the research, I think that we have all of the things in place that we need. I really do. It's relevant to me because at some point my end goal is to be a superintendent, assistant superintendent in a school district. And so this is relevant to me and things that I need to make sure that we have into place. So the SRP that is based on 5 actions: secure campus, lockdown, evacuate, shelter, and hold. We have a crisis team that has many different departments, many different schools, community members, RCPD that I've talked about a little bit, the fire department, the Potawatomi County Sheriff's Office, emergency management. We've teamed together with all of these, and I've actually seen that in action. And so I know that the relationships that we have fostered, they're going to do great things if we ever have to have an emergency that happens to us. And like I said, we have our director of school safety, which is Michelle Jones. Her accountability or accessibility is listed on the district website. She's very easy to get in touch with. Communication is back and forth with her. She's wonderful. And then we participate in School Safety Week. So we have fire drills, tornado drills, evacuation drills, where we actually walk our kids to the neighborhood church. That is our meeting place. We have secured campus drill, lockdown drill, RCPD comes, we have a hold drill. And because we have the Empower program within our school, we have had to use hold drills quite a bit if a student is escalated and is outside of the Empower room. So these are all things that I've personally used and I have seen the effectiveness of within my school. So really basically everyone that benefits is all of the stakeholders who come in contact with a potentially less than desirable situation at the school. And so I think we do a really good job with all of that. I didn't think about the architectural design for equity. And interestingly enough, the past 2 years, we've been doing a lot of renovations on our school. Our Empower program has been revamped and the room has been revamped, all of those things. And so, keeping in mind the architectural design part of it is really interesting. I know we had focus groups that came in when they were wanting to do changes, and it was a collaboration between all of us. It wasn't just an architecture firm coming in. So each school floor is designed to be ultra flexible. We have this. We do have pods where curriculum-based or project-based curriculum can happen. We have neighborhood, like we have our second and first and second grade. They have their own separate pod. We have hallways for the older kids. We have a sped hallway. And so I feel like as if we've put these things into place. Somebody's been very purposeful with making sure that there is equity as far as the design of our school, the design of our classrooms. But it wasn't something that I necessarily thought about to start with. So, so this is my submission. I hope that you've enjoyed learning about my school district.